Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's get into the news now. And in our first story, we start with news with the story of a 53-year-old man who is among those displaced in the floods at Mepe. Paralyzed from the waist down, Charles Dika is seeking help from the authorities. He's unable to access the emergency medical center set up for flood victims at the St. Kizito Senior High School because he's lost his National Health Insurance Scheme card. Carlos Caloni has more on that story.
Senior High School, which is serving as one of the centers for the affected flood victims of Mepe. There are a number of people here, the aged, the sick, children, and all that. So we have Mr. Lebene, who is a 53-year-old man, to share his story with us at this particular safe haven. So how long have you been here?
5 days.
How did you even get here?
Oh, they just carried me with Aboboya to brought me here.
Who brought you here?
My sister, Stella Dika. She brought me here.
We see your health is not the best. Do you mind sharing with us what actually is wrong with you?
Yeah, actually, from my waist to my leg, I have a problem. I can't walk. I can't sit down. When I want to sit down, I make myself like this before they put the chair on me. That's all. After the chair, then that means I'm going to bed flatly. Up to how many hours? 6 hours, 5 hours. If I'm tired, then I can come like this again. That's all.
How long have you been in this situation, this condition?
Oh, 1 year, 6 months.
What really happened?
Oh, just my waist, coughing. I went to the hospital. I come back within 3 days' time. Then that's all. I can't walk again.
So now that you are here at the safe haven, what can you tell us? Have you received any help from the NADMO, the assembly, in terms of your condition? Have nurses come to look at you and attended to you and all that?
Actually, the nurses or the doctor, there's nobody. But actually, the NADMO or the government, when they brought the thing, we are a lot of printing, almost 6,000 people here. If you don't get, it's not my fault. So you also, you can brought your food from market or any place to eat.
Is that to say you did not get some?
Yeah, I'm not getting because I'm here. When the food come, they just run there. When you come, they say it's finished. There's nothing. Almost 3 days ago, about 53 people inside the room. They'll give us 5 kilos on the rice, oil, tinapa, three tissue, 3 soup, and 1 cup. That's all. From 3 days, about 53 people in one room. So we are suffering.
All right. So earlier we heard from the DCE and NADMO. They told us that they are making arrangements for the sick and the aged, persons like you, so that nurses will attend to you here at the safe haven. Tell us if you've had any experience meeting any doctor or nurses here.
Nobody. I didn't see any nurse, doctor to come here. I hear that they just bring first aid at the last of the room there. They just come and tell us. But I don't have health insurance. So unless you pay money before they take care of you. But actually, I didn't went there.
Now, looking at the conditions here, mosquito bite and all that, share your experience with us in the night. What happens?
Mosquito there, from 4:30 to 5. If you don't put the net, you can't. So actually, we have plenty. I was here. If the rain is coming to, unless I shift, they can eat this one. That's all. But the mosquito is not easy. It's not easy. So actually, this one is not for me to. Somebody help me. So I need the help for that mattress and then the nets, anything, and the pillow. Actually, my problem with the wheel, I can sit and go here and come back. It's sitting like this 24 hours. It's my problem. I have a problem.
Thank you so much for speaking to us here on JoyNews. So that's the story of 53-year-old man Lebene, who has been here for about 5 days. He's paralyzed from the waist, and due to the situation is unable to move to get some help as and when the NADMO officials come to their aid here to share relief items to them. And
in our next story, a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Lily Pemka, wants women to frequently check their breasts for lumps in order to identify any signs of breast cancer early and seek treatment. She says more than 50% of breast cancer patients die due to late reporting. Now, she made the call at a breast cancer awareness walk and the launch of NOFOFest in Accra.
Cancer is the most frequently diagnosed cancer among women globally, accounting for 12.5% of all new annual cancer cases worldwide. It is the most prevalent cancer in the world, with approximately 50% in developing countries such as Ghana. More than 50% of women who are diagnosed with the condition end up dying. Dr. Lily Pemka says it is due to late reporting.
So breast cancer in black women or women of African descent is disproportionately higher than you see in other populations, and also more aggressive. So the issue here is most cases in Ghana, in parts of West Africa, present late at the hospitals. So that contributes to the higher mortality rate that we see. So essentially the whole point of NOFO Festival is to appreciate breast, and that will encourage people to take care of them and therefore examine them, so when there are issues of so that we can detect early, because the whole point of raising awareness is to ensure that their breast cancer is detected early for early treatment.
October has been set aside as Breast Cancer Month globally to raise awareness about breast cancer, promote early detection, support those affected by the disease, and raise funds for research, prevention and treatment. Georgina, a breast cancer survivor, shared her story while advising women to take care of their breasts and also be aware of their breasts.
I had this unusual pain in my breast that I ignored. Till like 3 weeks. Then I felt the breast and I realized there was an unusual lump in there. Naturally, I didn't know it was breast cancer, or it could be breast cancer. So I resorted to self-medication for 3 months before I eventually went to the hospital. I had to do further investigations, and the report came. There was still cancer in the conserved breast even after the chemotherapy. So I had to go on to have the whole breast removed. My advice is early detection and breast awareness. Let's be breast aware. If you know your breast, you'll be able to detect any abnormality in time. And if you detect the abnormality in time and you report to the hospital and you are confirmed to have breast cancer, once it is detected early, the costs you bear during treatment even is reduced. And of course, you may not even have to go through all that some of us went through.
The NOFOFest campaign is an initiative by the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, PEMCA Lab, and Little Cow Consulting. The year-long campaign seeks to raise awareness about breast cancer among students of the University of Ghana and also make them breast cancer ambassadors. Dean of Students at the University of Ghana, Professor Rosina Tremanting, bemoaned the increase in number of breast cancer cases among younger girls and further advised them to be mindful of activities that predispose them to breast cancer.
You know, in the past, before you could hear that somebody had got breast cancer or any form of cancer, the person may be in their 60s or 70s. But now it's presenting in younger people, mainly because of the change of our diets, our behaviors. We don't walk much, we don't do much exercise. I'm the Dean of Students of this university. When I was a student, we walked to every lecture theatre. Now the students go with shuttles, with Uber, with taxis, and so they are not doing much exercise. The kinds of food they are eating is different. They eat more processed foods. And so the cases of cancers are increasing, and so it is good to let them be aware of it right from this stage. So especially with the females, they can check their breasts whenever they are having their bath whenever, so that it can be detected early, because survival rate is high when it is detected early.
Some of the participants of the awareness program spoke to JoyNews.
Okay, so I'm here to raise breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer is one of the challenging issues that affects about 99% of women and about 1% being males. So as a result, I'm here to raise awareness for breast cancer in order for people to get an early screen for early detection to save more lives.
Let's talk education now, as the Ministry of Education says it is committed to supporting initiatives that envision a future where every Ghanaian child, irrespective of their socio-economic background, has access to quality education. It is currently running a partnership with Lead for Ghana, a non-profit group which has created a fellowship of volunteer teachers who will be deployed to 50 senior high schools across the country to augment the number of tutors training students in the areas of science, mathematics, English, and information technology. There's more in this report.
The Training Institute for Non-Profit Organization, Lead for Ghana, will deploy its newest cohort of fellows to 50 senior high schools across the nation to augment the number of students training to become tutors in the areas of science, mathematics, English, and information technology. Addressing journalists on the sidelines of an event to commission members of the fellowship, STEM advisor to the Minister of Education, Professor Mark Adom Asamoah, lauded the initiative while indicating the ministry's commitment towards the training program, which is in line with achieving quality education.
With Lead for Ghana, what we are doing with them is we have allowed them to bring in some graduate students who are being taught and taken through the various rudiments of teaching and learning. And the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education is supporting them through some of our collaborators. And one of such collaborators is TTEL. TTEL is dealing with funding from MasterCard Foundation, and it is helping us do training for those who will be teaching and leading our children in the schools.
To address the ongoing challenges, Lead for Ghana says it is implementing a holistic youth capacity development model which addresses and provides both short-term and long-term solutions that will proactively impact educational and student academic outcomes in pre-tertiary schools across the country. Daniel Doche is the Chief Executive Officer of Lead for Ghana.
What Lead for Ghana does is to recruit Ghana's best and brightest recent university graduates and young professionals, train them, and then deploy them to go and live for 2 years in rural communities to serve as teachers, but also to serve as community leaders. The reason we do this is because we want the next generation of leaders in this country to really understand the challenges within the educational ecosystem. So after the 2 years, when they start getting to leadership positions across all sectors in the country, the decisions they make and the policies they make would come from experience and not necessarily from theory.
The Ministry of Education says it is committed to supporting initiatives like Lead for Ghana. We envision a future where every Ghanaian child, irrespective of their socio-economic background, has access to quality education. With Lead for Ghana taking the helm in senior high schools, I am confident that we are several steps closer to realizing this dream. Karen Obing's report read to you.
Well, it's a wrap for the news, but before we get into the news review, we're going to leave you with the National Science and Math Quiz. Pope John Senior High and Minor Seminary is returning to winning ways after booking a seat in the semi-finals. The 2023 Eastern Regional Champions beat St. James Seminary and Ibri Presby SHS to make the historic return. Jacqueline Ansumayebwa caught up with the Dasibres of Pope John SHS.
Sacred Heart of Jesus, we put our trust in you.
Well, I'm still here with Pope John Senior High School, and on the second day of the quarterfinal, they just just made it to the semi-final, just as you hear behind me. They are super excited. But I have one student I spoke to during the 1A stage. Share with me how you feel.
I'm overwhelmed. I mean, the Lord has done so much for us, bringing us here and taking us on to the next level, which is the quarterfinals, which is the semi-finals, sorry. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
I'm too happy to speak.
Too happy to speak.
Now, tell me about El Regreso. Tell me more about it.
El Regreso means the comeback. So, the previous years, Pope John, we were not able to move ahead. But this year, we are coming back for the trophy. We are moving on.
Speaking before a contest, bragging, all those things are not necessary. So, I just wanted my boys to deliver. We just trust in God and hope for the best.
An old student here that I spoke to earlier. He was expressing so much confidence in his students. Oh, yes. How are you feeling right now, knowing all that you said?
Highly elated. I am very much glad. In fact, well, I'm not even jubilating because we've won over St. James, but just because we've won. Yeah, because St. James is not a match.
Yeah, well, initially you said it, but moving forward, what are the expectations for
when it started? It was quite some way, but then we knew that regardless of what happens, we will still sail through at the end of it all.
Were you scared at a point when it started?
I wasn't scared because
at the margin, it wasn't when it started.
It was like Jesus in the boat. He slept because he knew that there was a great outcome at the end of it all. Yes, so there's no, I didn't fear at all. Because
What should we expect from Pope John Seminary Senior High School moving forward? You are just a step away to the semis, then to the finale. Yes. What should we expect from Pope John's? Will there be a comeback?
Of course, like I told you earlier on, this year we are actually taking the trophy. We are waiting for Eastern Region. It's been a while since Eastern Region we took the trophy home, but then this year we are actually taking. In fact, we are avenging. Today you realize that we came to avenge St. Peter's, right? Yes, from Eastern Region. So we are moving forward with that vigor, just like that. In fact,
this feels like a comeback because this is like the second time since 2001. It's been a very long time. How do you feel about this?
Semis, we are already at the semis.
Yeah, you are already at the semis, but this is the second time in so many years.
So you see, we set sail. Now, in fact, we are beginning from here, and right after here, it's like since 2017, we've been in the quarterfinals. We've always been going home in the quarterfinals. So now that we've gotten to the semis and we even get to the final, it's going to continue forever.
You heard from the Eastern Regional Champions, Pope John Seminary, qualifying to the semi-finals with some 48 points today in the second day of the quarter-final stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. We are right here at the Sarah Mensah Auditorium for the National Science and Maths Quiz. I am Jacqueline Ansumaya Boa.